So the Boston Celtics have been on a revenge tour all season long, right? Come up short in the NBA Finals. They have that off-season drama with Udoka. In comes Joe Mazzulla. They don't miss a beat. In fact, they look even better, right? Perhaps just the maturity of the team of going through that finals loss. They're killing people, both with the eye test and with the analytics, right? Just putting up historical numbers. And so here they come on their first big West Coast road trip. And you know they have that date circled. Warriors rematch Saturday night, primetime ABC. But here was the problem. No Andrew Wiggins for the Warriors, right? And it also, you look at the timing of where these teams are in the season. Warriors struggling, still trying to get their footing, their rotation. And Boston, right, full steam ahead again, dominating everybody in their path. And I think most of us, myself included, assume Saturday night probably going to look pretty ugly for the Warriors, especially without Andrew Wiggins, who was the primary defender on Jason Tatum. You figure, all right, Jason is looking for some get back. He probably took the brunt of the criticism in that NBA Finals matchup, not performing up to what people expected, right? Great expectations when you're a superstar. Right now, he is the favorite for MVP 25 games through this season. So here he comes into Chase Center, right? They're gonna make a statement. Not so much, right? And I had tweeted out, I was like, yo, Tatum sees Steph and he turns into prime Jeff Green, right? And you see what I did there, right? Because it's kind of, it gets you to think it's provocative. No, you know what I mean? Some people don't slander Uncle Jeff. Jeff Green is a great role player, right? But he's a role player. And that was my point. Like, it's not like Tatum is awful, but all of a sudden he just, and it's, you know, people ask me, why is that, right? We assumed Wiggins got most of the credit in the finals, right? In his defense. And you understood that the athlete and defender that Wiggins is, okay, he had a tough time with him. But in this matchup Saturday night, it was Klay Thompson. And we'll get to Klay here in a minute. I'm going to give him his flowers as well. But I wanted to talk about Tatum. You know, is he a top 5 player in this league? Absolutely, right? But is he soft? Absolutely. You know, I think both can be true. And, you know, I know he's had big games on big stages. He's come up clutch in certain moments. But this isn't as uncommon as you think it is, where if you look at certain star players against certain teams and matchups, for whatever reason, I think there's various little reasons, they don't play well, right? And that just seems to be the case with Jason Tatum and this Warriors team. But I do think it's similar to a fighter, the fight game, right? Once you've seen a fighter quit, you know that that's in them. Right? Once you've seen a guy, I don't mean tapping out and getting submitted, but you see a guy's spirit get broken within a fight, boxing, MMA, right? That travels with their resume. Like, oh, you can break that guy as a fighter, right? I kind of feel that way about Tatum, right? You've seen his spirit get broken a little bit and be discouraged in certain big matchups, particularly with the Warriors. And it continued Saturday night where, what do you have, 18 points? He just wasn't impactful. And he was too easily discouraged from being aggressive and being the attacker. They weren't doubling him, right? They were showing help, right? And Klay Thompson did a great job on him. But, you know, I think that, I think that this is part of Tatum's resume at this point, where big game, Celtic fans, you tell me, what you counting on Jaylen Brown a little more, right? You trust Jaylen a little more in the big ones. But hey, that's why they're a duo. So I'm not here to just shit on Tatum. He is having a great season, but we have to acknowledge, he sees Steph, man, I don't know what happened. He sees the Warriors, it don't look good. And that's a problem if you consider these two teams favorites to rematch in June. So let's get to Klay. Look, he took a lot of shots. He made a lot of shots. But the thing was that drop defense, which was ridiculous with Blake Griffin in that game, it warranted those shots. It nurtured a lot of those mid-range pull-up shots coming off. They were just coming off naked. Just, you know, somewhat of a rear view contest, but there was no one in front of them. So you understood why there was 86 points combined between Poole, Klay, and Steph. It it almost felt like Missoula in the Celtics were playing possum. They were like, all right, y'all, this is what it's going to look like right now in December. We're not even going to show you what we're going to do. But it has to be acknowledged as well, right? No Rob Williams, no Al Horford. And with those two bigs, that gives them the ability to switch, to trap, to show high, to hedge, right? And with Blake, it seems like all they wanted to do was stay back and drop coverage. And they paid the cost for it. The Warriors, if you didn't see it, really controlled the entire game. Really kind of kept them at arm's length, shot the seams off the ball. But the story is the defense for the Warriors. Have they flipped a switch? Every time you count them out, every time I get on here and say, man, it ain't looking good, they old, they flip a switch, right? And it starts with Draymond and the veterans, and the youngsters followed suit. So let's talk about Klay. Look, his on-ball defense was fine, but it was the team defense where Klay really struggles. We've talked about it all season long. The Utah game, right? That was a perfect microcosm of where Klay really kills the defense, right? It's off-ball. It's a lack of awareness, alertness, urgency, switching, communicating. He doesn't do that stuff. Saturday night, he did. I watched it in my breakdown of the game. I highlighted a sequence where he switched like 3 times and then rotated out to a corner shooter, right? And that's going to be the key moving forward for Klay. If he can focus on those things, I know it's not a lot of glory in that. Most fans live don't even pay attention to it, right? Unless you're guarding the ball or you get some sort of loud block shot or rebound. But he's got to take pride in that, and then they start to be on a string, right? And so offensively, he's going to have nights like that. We know he has that mentality. I think it's just important. Stick to the team defense. Be a good teammate. Rotate, communicate, switch. That type of stuff. But he's got to remain dynamic as an offensive player. Again, 26 shots Saturday night, but the defense, that's what it allowed. It may not look like that against the Bucks Tuesday night, where, they traditionally use that same drop coverage. But if you've noticed this year with Bud and the Bucks, they've been more dynamic. They're not always in that drop coverage. Sometimes they have Lopez up high or Giannis up high. They do different things. And you imagine they look at that tape from Saturday night and they're like, yeah, we probably shouldn't be in a drop coverage Tuesday. And so sometimes Klay has to make that read like, okay, I'm not going to get that many shots in this matchup, or maybe I need to move the ball and just not come out so thirsty with that mindset. But hey, overall, I mean, it was just a really good performance. Jordan Poole, 20 in the I was going to say off the bench. No, he started in place of Wiggins. And that was what was interesting as well, because I thought Boston would take more advantage of Poole in the starting lineup. They hid him on Grant Williams to great success. I understand Grant Williams isn't a give me the ball ISO scorer, but you'd imagine that they could have exploited that more. Again, I don't know overall big picture how concerned Boston was with winning that game and showing maybe some strategy. They might just be playing it tight to the vest, right? But the key for Poole was because he didn't shoot the ball well. Shot a lot, but it was getting to the foul line. That's going to be the key for Jordan moving forward as far as being an efficient player. We know he's a volume guy, right? We know there's the flash, the style. But if he can get to the foul line 8, 9, 10 times a game, that's going to really help him be consistent and efficient on the nights where the 3 ball's not dropping. And for whatever reason, like you notice, Poole gets a better whistle than Steph, right? And it's stylistically. He's so irky-jerky. He's so quick. He has a lot of loud falls to the ground. And for whatever reason, he gets that whistle when he goes to the cup. And so I thought that was big for him. I also thought defensively, while he's not there yet, he put up more resilience, right? He wasn't just digging and reaching down. He was sliding his feet and willing to put his body in the way and put up resilience. And it was just a team effort overall, where it wasn't necessarily that they executed the defense right all night, but they attempted to. Their effort level and their urgency was so high on the defensive end, it sped up Boston. You say, well, Boston missed a lot of open shots, right? Well, I think you have to credit the Warriors defense for a good part of that, right? The other exciting part of what's going on with the Warriors right now, just in time for this tough road trip, is Dante DiVincenzo and Jonathan Kuminga look like they can solidify the bench. You've got 2 high motor, athletes who, have the ability to flip the momentum in a game. There's a game where it's the energy's low, they're struggling. Those two guys both have the ability to come in and switch that immediately because they're those type of energy guys. And you look at Kuminga and how it's just all starting to come together for him. The thing that stands out to me defensively is he's the aggressor. He's an attacker defensively. And you can see the offensive players are uncomfortable with him when he's guarding them. He's this alpha athlete, this apex athlete with a mean streak, and he's big and he's hungry, And so you can see him making guys uncomfortable, and he's starting to really, I think, relish that role and understand what he can be on that end of the court, right? And then just fill in the blanks. The offense is going to come along, the left hand, right? And Dante distributing. It's a very interesting combination, a combination the Warriors really haven't had off the bench, this type of athleticism and the way they're going to get it done. But it seems like those two can really solidify that, and look to grow on that on this road trip. They got to start racking them up here. What else do I have to say about this game? I guess that's it, man. Yeah, I just hopefully Clay, there's not going to be 20 shots a night ain't it. Sometimes it'll be 10, sometimes it'll be 20. Just do the little things to keep the defense connected. That was what was most exciting about Clay's performance. And then obviously the growth of Kuminga and Dante off the bench. So Bucks Tuesday night. If they can beat Boston and Milwaukee back to back, ESPN, all the major outlets, they're back. Here they come. They was just chilling that first 20. I hope so. Hey, if you haven't already, I look in the comments. I try to get back to some of you guys. I notice almost over half of y'all in the comments aren't subscribed to the channel. Help your boy out. If you're watching the videos, you ain't got to agree with me. I know, I don't give my opinion. I don't give my takes for you to just agree. You know what I'm saying? I just give them and expect pushback sometimes to agree or whatever it is, but at least subscribe, hit the like, hit the share. I'm out, y'all.